Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Um, Thought I'd make another video as a follow-up to my first one, so this would be number two. Um, just to kind of catch up since it's been, I think, a week and a half or so since my last video. Um, so at this point in time, I've been through. Sorry, let me close the door. This time at this point in time, I've been through one round of chemo now, and finished up the last few tests that I had to do before I started chemo. The last big test that I had after my last video was the PET scan. The PET scan. Um, oh, and I can't ignore my fire here. I like camping. It kind of calms me down around the fire. It's kind of soothing a little bit with these backdrops. Anyway, I had the PET scan done a few days after I took the video, and then also had an echocardiogram and a pulmonary function test on my lungs. The PET scan came back and kind of what we expected, which was good. The CT scan, the doctor read the CT scan, which isn't the full picture per se, but she thought it was in my neck and just down here in my cavity, like I mentioned in my first video. But and the PET scan revealed the same actually. So I have some lymph nodes in my neck, and then it travels down here to my chest area, and that was it. Luckily, that was it. The PET scan came back, and the oncologist mentioned that maybe there was some fluid around my heart, which was kind of good timing because we were having an echocardiogram like that day, I think, when I got the results back from the PET scan. So that was kind of concerning to me and kind of stressed me out when he told me that. But we had the echocardiogram. The cardiologist reviewed it and said there was nothing to worry about. It was, I forget the wording he said, but essentially there wasn't enough fluid around my heart to even worry about or even go in and drain. So that was good. So the PET scan results were good. In light of everything, of course, it could have been worse. So at this point, I think they've staged me at stage 2, and I guess stage 2A at this point, since I'm not B. I'm not a B symptom Hodgkin's lymphoma type. So stage 2A, which is good. And then so the echocardiogram came back, and everything seemed fine. The pulmonary function test, I did that, which was kind of fun. That was kind of interesting. They stick you in this glass, like enclosure type thing. I think they only closed it for one of the tests, but essentially you go through the series of tests and you breathe through this tube, and you just breathe normal, and then she told me to breathe in like deep breath and then blow out as hard as I could, as long as I could. So I did that a few times. That was kind of interesting, but there's a couple different tests like that. That didn't last too long, and that was pretty much it. And then considering I have asthma, my oncologist for the first round of chemo wanted me to go into the hospital, admit to the hospital for the first round of chemo, just to monitor me a little bit, because there's certain drugs. I'm getting ABVD, and I'll list it on the screen what it means. But I'm getting ABVD as my chemo drug, and ABVD. There's 4, obviously ABVD, and 2 of them I can't remember which one. One of them affects your lung function, or can, and another one affects your heart function. So hence the echo test and the pulmonary function test. So they admitted me to the hospital and administered chemo there. This last, so when was that? That was 5 days ago, actually. Yeah. So today is Wednesday. They did it on Friday, this last Friday. So admitted to the hospital. They hooked me up to my port. I got IV fluids going, so I was all hydrated and everything. And then I think it was late in the afternoon when they finally started the chemo, and that actually didn't take too long. There was obviously 4 drugs. The first 3 only took like 10 minutes each, and then the last one took like an hour. So in total, it lasted like a little over 2 hours to do the chemo, and then that was it. And they just hooked me up back up to fluids again. But so that process went pretty smoothly in the hospital and whatnot. So that was fine. Woke up the next day a little nauseated. Not bad though. Like I could tell my stomach, like something's up my stomach, but nothing too crazy. I still wanted to eat, but I told the nurse about that, and I think they prescribed me Zofran, and they gave me a Zofran. And actually, before they administer the chemo, they give you a bunch of anti-nausea medicine to go with the chemo and stuff too. So, and then afterwards, the next morning, she gave me a Zofran as well, and then I ate and did fine there, and then discharged the next day. So went home. Everything seemed to be fine. I was totally normal. But the next day, I started to feel a little worse as far as feeling nauseous. But I was taking the anti-nausea medicine, the Zofran, and I didn't like the taste. The taste itself, it's funny how your senses they change, they heighten. Like and I've heard that with this chemo, is that when you go through this, that your senses and your tastes and your smells, they change, they heighten, and you're way more sensitive to certain things. And that is definitely true. There's certain smells that remind me of the chemo. There's certain smells that remind me of the hospital, that puts you back in that place where you don't feel so good. And when that happens, you get that feeling in your that uneasiness in your stomach, and you just don't feel good after that. You just don't want to smell those things. But it was 2 days ago, so it would have been today's day 5. So today is the 5th day after chemo, and I feel a lot better today. And I actually started to feel better yesterday too, as far as being able to eat and stuff. But it was day 3 that really sucked. I threw up in the morning. The Zofran didn't work, because I also have that blood clot in here that I was telling you about in the first video. I have to take that morning and night, the blood thinner. And I took it. I took all my medication in the morning and threw up right after that, probably about 30 minutes after I took all my medication. So pretty sure none of my medications took. My stomach was all uneasy all day. Had a really, really bad headache by the end of the day, like a bad migraine. I used to get migraines as a kid, but kind of outgrown them, but came back for this. And then actually threw up that night too. So I threw up a couple times that day on day 3. Not fun. That was not fun at all. And actually that day too, we went and we had an appointment with a nutritionist at the cancer place, the oncologist's office. So I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it, because I was such in a fog. My head was in a fog. I didn't feel good at all. I didn't really want to go, but I knew it was pretty important. So me and my wife made it work and went, and that was super helpful. The nutritionist was great, had lots of handouts and a lot of information that kind of overwhelmed us. For me, I wasn't comprehending anything because I was in a fog and didn't feel good. So my wife pretty much took all the information. We brought it home and tried to just, distinguish what to do, because since all of this has started, since all the tests and putting in the port, doing the biopsy under sedation, all that, I think my body's been kind of put into shock, especially my bowel system. It seems like it's like dead in there. Like nothing wants to move. Like I haven't really had a normal stool in a while. It's like nothing's moving, and I don't really feel like it's doing anything. So we talked about that with the nutritionist as well. There's foods and drinks out there that will help things move along. And it's been 2 days now since we've, kind of been on that regimen. And it's slow. It's very still today even. It's really not moving much right now, which is kind of concerning a little bit because we want things to progress. We want things to move along so we can get that yucky stuff out of me so I don't feel so crappy in my belly. So that's kind of been the struggle for me a little bit with this whole process. Today I feel fine. I almost feel completely normal today. I went on a walk even though it's like 5 degrees outside this morning. It's freaking cold. But yeah, I got my appetite back and stuff. It's just my bowels is just not moving. But I did work today, so that was good. What else? Yeah. Oh, also, I have a picture of the PET scan. I'll put it up on screen. I should have mentioned that earlier when I was talking about the PET scan appointment and where the cancer is. I'll put it up on screen in editing here, the magic of YouTube. I'll put it up on screen so you guys can see that's only in that one general area, and it'll light up on the picture. You see the cancer area will light up. It's all bright. I'm looking at it on my screen right now, but my brain is lit up. That always lights up. They said, don't worry about that. My bladder's lit up, probably because some of that fluid I ingested for the PET scan is in my bladder, but don't worry about those things. The main part is looking for those lymph nodes that are lit up, and you can definitely see a big mass in my neck. So there's a bunch of them in there. I mean, that's all there is. So that was good. I'll show it on the screen here. But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've noticed some changes with me. Not really anything too big. Like I've noticed though that I'm breaking out. It's kind of weird. I don't really have acne issues too much, but yeah, within the last day or two, I've noticed some little zits popping up. So that's kind of fun. But nothing crazy with my hair yet. Nothing like that. Let me think. Anything else? I don't think so. I'm sure as days progress, though, and as the chemo treatments go and come and pass, that we're going to be seeing some changes, especially with my hair and whatnot. Because I was told I'm going to lose my hairs, but that's fine. I don't really care that much about that. I've had buzz cuts as a kid, so I'm used to that, and I've always had short hair. That's not a big deal. I feel bad for the women out there that have to go through this. It's a big change for them. But yeah, so I think at this point in time, I have an appointment with oncologist tomorrow. I think they're going to draw labs, see where my numbers are, my white blood count, red blood count, all that stuff, and see how I reacted to the first round of chemo. And then I think we got to schedule out all the next ones. I'm hoping to do it on a certain day, kind of to work best with my work schedule and my wife's work schedule and all that stuff. So we got to get that all scheduled out. But first chemo run, let's just hope that I can get my system in check before the next round next week, because I got to do this every other week. Chemo rounds are every other week for me. So I got to get my system in check as far as my bowels. Hopefully before the next one I have everything flowing like it should to move into the next one. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I I don't think there was much more to talk about other than that. Yeah, it was just that couple days ago was rough. It was really, really bad for me. I just, I, I slept in the recliner that night because I didn't want to move because my head hurt so bad. I was at, once you find that comfortable position when you have a migraine, you don't want to move. That's kind of how it was, and I was dehydrated on top of that, so I fell asleep in the recliner. Woke up in the middle of the night having to go to the bathroom, which was, when you're dehydrated and have to go to the bathroom, it kind of stings. Plus, trying to get up when you're dehydrated, I was all stiff and like, ugh. It was not fun. It was not a good feeling. But this is round one, so this is a learning thing for everyone, and hopefully we can get it all figured out for the next one going into it, so it's not as severe next time. But yeah. Anyway, fun stuff. Fun stuff. I don't think I have anything else to touch on. That was kind of the gist of it. As far as how I've felt and how things have progressed so far and everything we've done and what we need to do now. I just got to stay on top of my nutrition, make sure I'm eating the right food so I don't get all blocked up. Yeah, so this is, I guess, the second video after the first round of chemo. This is day 5, so today is 5 days after my first round of chemo. Feeling good now. Did not 2 days ago, though. So anyway, hopefully I'll be doing this after every round of chemo to see how things have progressed. Oh, the biggest part, I forgot. After the first round of chemo, I was obviously, I told you guys I was in the hospital. The next day, I noticed this lump in here has already regressed a little bit. It's already shrunk. And I don't feel my lymph node as much. So that was really encouraging that it's already working. Even the next day after administering the chemo, it has already gotten smaller. And when I was in the office, oncologist's office, to see the nutritionist 2 days ago, the nurse was like, "Hey, did you happen to notice that if your lumps have gotten smaller or not?" And I was like, "Funny you ask, because they have." Obviously, she's been through this many times, has seen it with many patients, so she knows what's going on. And maybe she just wanted to check. So that was kind of encouraging to see and feel this, that has gone down a little bit. So it's obviously working. So, oh, and that was another thing too. After doing this for a couple months, the oncologist wanted to do another PET scan to see where we're at, depending on if insurance will cover it at 2 months or if we have to wait until 3 months. But we're going to, stay active on it and see how it's progressing or regressing. But, yeah, so that was encouraging to feel the very next day that it's already gone down a little bit. So that was awesome. So anyways, guys, that is all I have for this video. I will be making another one in the future. I don't have like a certain schedule. If I feel good, I'll do it. If I have time, I'll do it. But hopefully in between, obviously I got 2 weeks in between chemo treatments, so I should find some sort of time in between chemo treatments to do it again, to give an update for everybody. So, yeah, so far so good, I think. It's only the first round, but cross your fingers. We got this. All right, guys. You guys have a good one. Peace out.